So welcome to the Tact Talks podcast. It's a place where some of the most innovative and fastest growing companies in the Northwest can come on, tell us what they're doing behind the scenes, but also try and impart some wisdom for people who are pursuing a career in technology. We're joined today by Tony Melia from the Modern Milkman. Thank you for coming, Tony.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Afternoon now. I think just to kick us off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to at the minute?
Yeah, okay then. So I started my career a long time ago, 25 years ago. Started out as a database engineer, database developer, and progressed through the typical route of a DBA. Sure. But really I always liked the development side of it. So was expanded into being a developer, mainly in Microsoft technologies. So back then it was VB6 and early days of .NET. And then from there, kind of progressed through to team leader and development manager. Did some work in Denmark, so quite exciting times over there, and got to do quite a bit of travelling. And then, in 6-7 years ago, I joined Provident Financial as a senior solutions delivery manager. So that was like the first time I'd actually been able to build a proper IT team, a large IT team of 80 odd people, 90 people. Stay there, and then in Feb this year, I joined the Modern Milkman, as doing exactly what I wanted to do, really, which is the Modern Milkman has a very small tech team today, or UK tech team today.
Sure.
But it's got really exciting plans, and to be in there from the start and be able to build that is really exciting.
Yeah. So your title now is head of engineering, is that right?
Head of development.
Head of development. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So you're looking after all the engineers.
Yeah. So dev, test, our Scrum process, Scrum masters, our release process, all of that side of it.
Awesome. And as someone quite new to the Modern Milkman, what attracted you to joining this company out of others?
Really key is the reuse and the environmental benefits and the culture of the organisation. It's an amazing place to work. I'm not just saying that, it really is. I knew from the kind of very, very early days of meeting these guys that they're going somewhere, and the tech is exciting, and being able to, like I say, be in from the start and be part of that transition and that growth and just amazing stuff that they've got planned for the next few years. That's what sold it to me.
Wow. Yeah. And they're doing some pretty, altruistic, good stuff.
Yeah. We're using up-to-date technologies, stuff that I haven't previously had a lot of experience in. So React and things like that for the front end. Like I say, I come from a .NET background, so it's interesting to be part of that. Sure. and to build a team of people that have got different skill sets to what traditionally I'm used to. So that's another exciting part of it. But yeah, the systems that we've got today, they were built a couple of years ago when the company started. They're really good, but they're probably reaching their capacity now, and we're trying to build the architecture for the future. So split things up, make it more microserviced, serverless technology. So a lot of people talk about Kubernetes and Docker and containerization, and seem to be key buzzwords that people kind of just throw out there. But we're not just like that. We're actually using it. We're actually implementing it, and it's exciting times to be part of that.
Wow, brilliant. And so for say someone in engineering or test or product or whatever who's coming into the team at Modern Milkman, what can they expect to be working on? Anything in particular?
Yeah, so there's some systems that we have today that, like I say, they probably need re-architecting, or definitely need re-architecting. Sure. But there's some systems we don't have today. Key one being stock control. We do have stock control, but we need to modernise that system and build a proper custom-made stock control management system. The other one that is probably the more exciting one for me is the route optimization. Okay. So we have drivers at the minute that go out in the evening delivering the products. They're kind of left to themselves to figure out the best order to do the deliveries and the most efficient way of doing it. And what I'm trying to do is use data, basically, use a data-driven approach to work out what's the most efficient route for them, easiest one for them, what's most profitable. So that's interesting. And then the final area is we're very much based on postcodes at the minute. But obviously the new postcodes arrive and we have to constantly update our systems. So we want to look at more, rather than being driven by postcodes, being more driven by geo data about where the location is.
And is that from obviously an efficiency point of view, but also an ecologically or eco-friendly way? You need to make sure the routes are.
Yeah. So there's a great example of there's a postcode that's OL8. Well, OL is Oldham.
Yes. Yeah.
But actually, it's 9 miles from Oldham, and it's only 2 miles from another town that we deliver to. So it makes sense to deliver out of that area. But when somebody puts in the postcode, we kind of go, oh, well, we'll deliver that out of Oldham, but it's not necessarily the most efficient way of doing it.
Of course.
So we need to be looking where the actual pin is, where the geolocation is, and then where our customers are, and working out the most efficient way of delivering that.
Because the projects you've got on, like stock management, that sort of thing. But if you really think about it, from what the Modern Milkman do, they are fairly complex, aren't they? Because with for instance, the stock stuff isn't just drop it off and that's it. You also have to pick it up as well, which
and we've got to get the bottles back. We've got to sterilise them, and just make sure that reuse is in there. But yeah, they're more complex than the people perhaps initially think.
Sure. People
see it as a website, you can place some orders and it's a basket and you check out and your products arrive the next day. But actually the amount of data and processing and complexity we have behind the scenes to make sure that occurs on time and is the correct order is more than you would expect.
Wow. Okay, great. And just for the techie people out there, in terms of the stack that you're using currently, what is that?
So it's React and React Native for the front end. So we have a customer website, we have a customer app, we have a driver app, which our drivers use to know where to deliver and what to deliver. Sure. All of them systems call APIs. So them APIs are written in .NET Core, and they communicate back to a SQL Server database, and it's all hosted in Azure, so cloud-based.
Amazing. And obviously, I think James spoke about it before. They were talking about expansion.
Yeah.
Right. So hence the growth of the team, which is pretty exciting. For you and for the software that you're creating, what, in terms of coding practices and the way that you're building these robust systems, how do you envision doing that? What kind of approach?
So we want to build little and often, not big 3-month projects. So we talk about picking tickets up and progressing them almost within a day, 2 days. We want to get to the point where we can deploy daily into production. We currently deploy probably every 2 or 3 days. And the big blocker to that at the minute is the amount of automation testing we've got. So there's a lot of manual testing still involved. As we can automate it and not just play catch up, but have an automation first approach, it will enable us to turn that software around faster and be able to deploy daily. And that's kind of the really key kind of things that links back to the culture. We're not scared of failure. We want to deliver. We want to deliver fast. We want to deliver good. But if we get 9 releases out all successful, then that's good. It's really good.
And the culture that, so you're what is the engineering team at the minute? Is it 23? I think
in the UK.
Yeah,
it's 18 in the UK.
18 in the UK. Sorry,
and 14 offshore.
Right, got you. So the great thing is about the Modern Milkman, and again, why people are attracted to it. Not only they're doing a good, being part of a good cause, but also you guys are fully remote, or remote first, probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, we don't expect people in the office very often. Maybe 1 day a month. Depends where you're located. If you want to be in the office, you can be. But we're definitely taking people on that are spread out all over the country at the minute. So yeah, and we're not particularly finding any issues with that. We've got good kit, we've got good connectivity, we've got good practices, so people can work remote.
Amazing. And where are your offices based?
They're based in Spinning Fields in Manchester.
Right.
We also have our main office is in Colne, which is near Burnley, but it's a fairly small office. We don't expect people to go into there very often.
Sure. So Manchester, very central, brilliant.
Yeah, very central. Yeah.
So with everyone being remote, how are you, in terms of like kind of culture and that sort of thing? Are you finding that people are like kind of keeping that culture is quite tough, or are you finding it's not an issue?
It's not particularly an issue.
Yeah.
So we do things like on Fridays, we have an entire team meeting. It's only 30 minutes, but we encourage everybody to join. And in there, we don't have any agenda, and we don't particularly talk about work. We might do some shout outs and we might call out if there's anything specific, but it's really about what are you doing at weekend, anything you want to talk about. And it just kind of encourages people to communicate and to talk to the teammates that not in a work environment, which is what you would do if you was in an office.
Sure.
You'd meet people in the lunch queue or getting a cup of tea or whatever. So them type of meetings where it's not all about what your job is and what you're doing, really helps us to bring the team together. And I think now lockdown's easy and we will get people into the office and we will do more team bonding type stuff going forward. So
good idea. Yeah, brilliant. And look, I think the great thing about Modern Milkman is doing good stuff in terms of like very altruistic stuff. But for like an engineer or a techie coming onto the team at the Modern Milkman, what's the opportunity there for them?
Well, the opportunity is to work with some amazing talent, and for me, if I was still a developer, what I would find interesting is you coming in at the start, you can bring your own ideas, your own experience. You're not coming in to maintain the product that exists, and that's good for the candidates and the people we take on, because they feel they can really buy into it and feel part of designing something that's going to be used for the future. But it's also really good for us because we're getting multiple different ideas and experiences all feeding into that. So yeah, it works both ways.
Yeah, because the team's fairly multidisciplinary, isn't it?
Yeah, so each Scrum team that we have will have front-end API developers, automation testers, manual testers, Scrum Master and Product Owner in there. So we're trying to get to the point, and we're almost there now, where a Scrum team has a product, it looks after that product, and it should be able to do everything it needs to do without any cross-team dependencies. Right. So we're trying to build a team that's full stack, basically.
Amazing. Okay. And so you've been doing a lot of interviewing recently.
Many
interviews, which obviously very time consuming. But part of that, you get a lot of a big idea of what you generally look for when hiring somebody. So when you are hiring somebody, obviously it depends on the role you're hiring them for in terms of technologies. But what's the most important thing for you when hiring someone?
So the most important thing for me and for the company is that they understand the company and they buy into the values of the company. Cool. So the reuse, the environmental aspects of it, and what we're trying to achieve as a company around being that environmental kind of leader. If you're not into that, then that's kind of a big turn off for me, because you're just coming for the sake of a role rather than investing in the company that you want to work for. So that's the first one. And the second one is enthusiasm. Basically, them two things are as important as the tech, or almost as important as the tech.
Brilliant. So you look at someone who wasn't the full package perhaps, but was a passionate, enthusiastic about the cause.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, we've took on people that were more junior, with perhaps not the full rounded experience we were initially looking for, but they sparked our interest. They had the right sort of goals and ethos and mentality, and we thought, look, we can take these people, we can work with them, we can bring them on, and we can make them what we want them to be.
Amazing.
It's not all about experience for us.
Yeah.
It's about having the right attitude.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's where some companies do go wrong. They hire for a tick box exercise rather than attitude, because I think the skills you can almost teach a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got a terrible attitude and you're not wanting to take
Yeah, I
things on
mean,
board.
people need obviously to have that basic skill
Yeah, sure.
and basic understanding, but we're not afraid of investing in people and encourage and supporting them to pick up where maybe they have some weaknesses or areas of that are missing. But that ability to want to learn, that ability to want to work for a really exciting company. We talk about this tech center of excellence, and that's what we want to be. Or certainly what I want us to grow into. We want to be this company that when you talk to people about the Modern Milkman, they go, "Oh yeah, that's a great IT team. I would love to work there." And that's what we're building. And I talk about in the interviews when I'm doing them, I talk about this no egos type approach. We want people to bring their experiences. We want people to be able to bring their opinions and suggestions, but we don't want people to come in and go, "You will do what I say because I'm one level above you in the organisation."
Sure.
That isn't us. We want people to come in and be part of a team, and we'll succeed as a team or we'll fail as a team, but no one person will make that team.
Wow, I like that. Brilliant. Okay, great. And I guess I'm conscious of time here, but in terms of, I always like to ask people, especially candidates when I'm qualifying them for a job or hiring managers when I'm working with them, when you're not building this tech center of excellence, when you're not at work, what do you go to? Have you got any hobbies you do outside of work, anything like that?
Yeah, so I do a lot of cycling.
Nice.
Done many charity events over the years. Historically, before the Milkman and before Provident, I used to cycle to work, so a few thousand miles a year. So that used to keep me fit. Perhaps not as much now, but I also play a lot of golf.
Yes, so I remember you telling me about that. No, look, I think from what I understand, the Modern Milkman and what you guys are doing, I think it's incredible, and I think anyone who's obviously watching this podcast and are listening to what your plans are for the future for this team, I think, I'm excited to see where the team goes in the next 18 months and how it grows. How many are you going to grow by for the next 18 months? Have you got an idea?
It keeps moving and it keeps getting larger.
Brilliant.
So when I started back in Feb, we were going to grow by 8
right.
in my area alone. We're now growing by 22 in my area, and I don't think it'll stop there.
Right.
But yeah, there'll be a lot of people in the next 6 months, a lot of vacancies, and a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, so anyone coming on, big progression opportunities, especially.
And like I say, I really think now's the time for people to get involved with us, because it's at the start of building the architecture for the future.
Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you for coming down. Really appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.